John, it's great to be back with you again today. Today is in fact the 9th of January, and it's the day after you going back into hospital to have your pacemaker switched on, which took place at St George's. And so we're here today to record how you got on and what has been the after effects after 24 hours of having this incredible bit of science switched on and controlling your Parkinson's in many ways. How's it been?
Fine, thank you. No, I can't keep that up, so I'm not even going to go there. Yeah, actually, you say science, and that's what it basically was. It was so scientific, it was just incredible. I was in there for about 3 hours, and it was very similar to when I had the research thing done when I was in hospital. You know, they my battery pack thing, they had one of those put over there, put this stimulator thing onto my chest there. Still wore the same thing as I would do as if I was powering up my battery pack. And that was connected to a computer, and then basically the nurse and the professor lady, they did a lot of talking. I didn't understand about numbers and so on and so forth. And then she said, right, it's going to start now. And then she said, what you're feeling first is you'll feel a little tingling in the arm and the hand. And we want to make sure that we stimulate you at the right level. Okay? So they have to start off very, very low.
Yeah. How did they actually switch it on?
What, this?
Yeah.
They put the that charger thing I have.
Yeah.
They had exactly the same as that.
Right.
That had a bit better, not the actual charger. Well, there must have been a charger with it, but a more scientific. Had one of these that side.
Yeah.
And on that side, it had another box that was connected up to the computer.
Yeah.
And on that, it virtually turned on the machine, and then that stimulates everything.
So it's like Wi-Fi, or it's Bluetooth. So whatever's actually resting on top of your chest is actually able to send a signal to what's underneath your skin, within your chest.
Yeah. Exactly like my battery charger.
Right.
Exactly like that battery charger I showed you. Put it on my chest there.
Yeah. So the battery charger obviously charges the battery within the pacemaker, but also controls the pacemaker.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to be controlled that way, as opposed to using the remote.
Yes.
Fine. So they sat you down.
Sat me down.
Put the gubbins around your neck.
Like
so on the right hand side was the controller, and on the left hand side over your pacemaker was the apparatus that's talking to the pacemaker.
Talking to the computer and the pacemaker. Yeah.
Fine. And then she switched it on.
Yeah. And then what she said to me, you'll feel a sensation. I want to see how you feel with it. So they turned it on, and I felt a little tingling in my fingers. So every time I felt something, I had to tell them. It's exactly how mine were when I was doing the research. And then they tweak it up a little bit, send it to me again, and then I'd feel a bit more. And I'd have to say exactly how I felt. Sometimes I felt giddy. Sometimes I felt sort of my arm really shaking bad. I felt it in my leg. All different times, all different settings. And then she said, right, okay, after about half an hour of sort of umming and ahhing and saying always, well, we're giving 1.4 and 1.3 and 1.2 and 2.4. So they were adjusting it to my highest setting and then adjusting it down to my lowest setting. So they had to get that right first before they could do anything else. So a happy medium, what I could work with. So, and then what they would do is that they would do something within the computer and it would make my fingers go tingly. But I didn't realise that every time I had to do it, I had to do that finger thing again. But what was happening was, even though it was doing something to my arm, it wasn't doing anything to my leg. So I was sort of, every time I had a go at reprogramming, I had to get up and do something. So they knew exactly where I was going. They knew within the computer where they were programming. So she said to me, right, if you get up and go for a walk. She knew exactly what was going to happen because she was there waiting. I got up and she caught me straight away because I toppled over. I couldn't walk. She goes, now was that you? Or she said, or was that genuine? I said, no, that was absolutely genuine. She was right, sit down. So they tweeted it again. And I got up and she said, so how do you feel? I said, I still feel a little bit giddy. I had to be truthful. I said, I feel a little bit giddy. She says, okay, well, how do you feel now? All right, she goes, right, let's see if we can take it for a walk. I walked out to the corridor and started wobbling all over the place. Get back in here, get quick, come and sit down. And then she tweeted it again. And then I got up, walked up the corridor, walked back again. She says, well, and then they were talking amongst themselves again. And then they said, 1.4, 1.3, and for the setting. And so they both agreed on this particular setting. So they did that setting. And then they went on to something else. And then it said to me, start talking. As I was talking, I didn't even know that I was talking. So how's your voice? I said, all right, I said. She said, no, it's not. It sounds bloody terrible, she says. I was slurping all over the place and I didn't even know. Tweeted it again and sort of asked me to talk again, and it was a little bit better. Then they tweeted it again. They tweeted that a couple more times and then I had to speak again, and they talk about the settings and so on and so forth. And then while all that was going on, she says, be right, move your hand for me. I couldn't even lift my arm up. My arm was totally, wasn't with me. It wasn't with me. The brain was saying, no way, Jose, you're going to lift that arm up. And so I got on my arm like that. She was right, put it back down again. 2.4, 3.6, doing all this sort of palaver again. And then, again, I lifted it up. It was like they were controlling me. I had no control over my body whatsoever. They could do it all by this computer.
So the sensors that were put into your brain, I'll use the word sensors, a month ago, allow the pacemaker to control various parts of your body and your speech.
Yes. Well, you see, the things that she said, what our main goals, our main achievements are. She basically said to me, what would you like to get out of this by the time we're finished? What would you like? I said, well, obviously, to get rid of my tremors, I'd better work for my leg, and obviously my speech now. She goes, that'll happen. And I said to her, for me to come off my medication. She said, well, at the moment we're going to keep you on your medication. She said, because you're on your lowest at the moment.
On your lowest what? Settings. Right.
On our lowest settings at the moment.
Yeah.
And she said, well, put it this way, what we've set you today, in a couple of days' time you might feel bad again. She says, because your body's got to adjust to it. She goes, and then you phone us up, and then what we can do is that we can adjust it over the phone with you. Hence, the reason why they've given me this. This is a remote control. And I'm not allowed to play with this until I've got to know it a little bit better. But this controls me. Believe you me, I could earn fortunes with this. The people would love to get hold of that and control me with it. Basically, once you turn it on, it's a stimulator settings. if I'm really feeling grotty, really feeling bad, I can phone Alison up, and basically she would connect to her computer, what will connect to this, what will connect to that, and she would tell me what I've got to do with it. And but I can actually, through this, set this to that. And I can regulate the stimulation that it gives me. But not for a while. I'm not allowed to play with it until I've at least got to know how it works. I can't even turn it on at the moment.
So the settings that you've got on the pacemaker to control the sensors, to control your body and your speech, are set for the next month?
Yeah, on the 12th of February I go back again.
Okay.
To have it, to see how I'm going.
Meanwhile, does the hospital know how you're getting on day to day? Is there any form of remote information being passed through to the computer?
Well, what I'm doing, I've decided to do that. My wife came up with a good idea. Have a day-to-day diary. So basically, you know, once I get up in the morning, write how I feel, how my sleep was. I've write just, you know, nothing sort of page and page to page, just a quick sentence, how I feel, how my tremors are, how my speech is, and so on and so forth, until the next time I go, and that would give them some sort of indication how it's working.
So you came home yesterday afternoon with the settings that you
With the settings.
And you're still taking the same drugs as you were prior to the machine being switched on. Has there been any conflict between the drugs being taken?
See, what they were looking for, because what they were trying to say is that with the stimulation I'm getting from this and too much drugs, what that can cause is involuntary movements. If you ever seen some people with Parkinson's that are sort of doing this all the time, that's an involuntary movement. So if you're taking with the stimulation and too much drugs, that can cause involuntary movements. So this is what they were looking out for as well. So, you know, when this gets turned up, my drugs start getting less and less and less.
Or how long should it take for you to come off the drugs?
They didn't say that. They didn't say, but she said don't expect it to happen straight away. She said it could happen from up to 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
You know, continuously sort of monitoring it and sort of going back and getting it tweeted up and sort of worked on. Yeah.
So you went to bed last night, normal time, and your normal sleep pattern without the sensor presumably is fairly disruptive.
Yeah, I used to get up 3 or 4 times a night.
To do what? You're being woken up because of the Parkinson's, and you can't get back to sleep, you're bored, you're lying there, you want to get up and do something.
No, I normally wake up, my hand's sort of aching a bit where it's been tremoring and that, so I get up and sort of, while I'm up, I might as well not waste any time, I'll go and have a wee, and then sort of go back to bed, and then I can fall back to sleep again.
Okay.
And then an hour later I wake up again and have to do the same thing again, my hand is aching and so on and so forth. But last night I went to bed, I woke up at 6:30 this morning.
When was the last time you did that?
Oh crikey. I
Can't remember.
Can't remember.
So the sensation of today, it's now 3:30 in the afternoon, your movements have been more controlled.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a tremor. You know, I'm getting a little bit, but not as bad as it was. Not as bad as it was, without a doubt. You know, I'm having a little shake now. You know, but apart from that, you know, when I'm doing something, nothing whatsoever.
And your leg?
I've got a bit of bounce in my legs today.
What does that mean?
Felt good.
So you feeling stronger?
I wasn't dragging it, sort of, you know, walking properly, as I say.
You must be completely over the moon with what's happened.
So far I am, yes. So far I'm very happy with what I've been through. You know, all I'm looking at now is I've been through quite a bit, but would I have it done again? Yes, because I know that what's going to happen to me in the latter part of the year is going to be so much better than what I feel now. Because we can only look forward now. It's not going to be a cure, don't get me wrong. It's not going to be a cure. I'm not going to have it all turned on and think, you know, I'm cured full stop. I will always have Parkinson's. But it will, you know, so I won't have the shakes anymore. And the best thing about it is I've got it for 25 years. If I'm feeling grotty, I just up it. If I'm feeling bad, because it will get worse, because the more it gets worse, the more I can tweak it up.
When you started having conversations with the consultants about what this procedure can do for you, did they talk about swallowing and how this may ease swallowing if indeed swallowing became a problem?
No,
Okay.
it didn't come into the... There's 40 different Parkinson's problems you can get,
Right.
40 altogether.
Okay.
You know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And hopefully, who knows? I really don't know.
No.
I didn't
Okay.
I didn't get into that
Yeah.
into that category of freezing and swallowing and sort
Yeah.
of things like that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to push my luck too far. Yeah, so far so good. I'm happy with what we're going through. You know, I can already feel a difference. You know, it can only get better now.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more headaches?
Any more?
Headaches?
No,
They've all gone.
headaches are gone, and I slept so well last night. You know, I've turned over on this side. Basically, what I said to, because after I came out of the my nurse's room, the consultant was there, and I basically asked him. I said to him, "Will I still have all this sort of lump in my head here?" I said, "You know, it goes from here right the way across my head." He said, "Yeah, you will." I said, "Oh, why is that then?" He said, "Because you've got 2 connector points here." He says, that's why that feeling." I said, "Oh, that's all right then," because I thought there was something wrong. But he said, "You'll always have those there because you've got 2, like a connecting box." So
There's nothing above the skin anymore, is there? I mean, the fact is that you're going to have a haircut and have a number 1, there's going to be no problem.
no, but that lump will always be there.
Yeah, okay,
That lump will always be there.
right, fine. And so you said this morning you went to see a tattoo artist in Morden
Yeah,
about having your right chest tattooed with an instruction.
yeah.
What was that instruction?
Well, basically, I have got a little ID card. Now I have to carry that ID card with me everywhere I go now, but I can't carry it when I'm cycling, you know, because, you know, it's a bit of paper. It's soon going to wear off and it's soon going to get grubby, or I could even lose it. So basically, God forbid it ever does happen, I have an accident on my bike and they have to have those electrodes to start my heart rate, my heart or anything, or even take me into an ambulance to give me an x-ray or something like that. What I've asked them to do is, I went to a tattoo artist this morning and asked them to put all the information about my monitor on my chest here, so I don't have to carry this card around with me like every time. Because if you have it put on your arm, they're not going to see it, because what will happen is when you have an accident, they rip open your shirt, get these stars, but they can't see if it's on your arm. So if I put it on my chest here, have it tattooed on my chest, I don't have to worry about taking a card with me everywhere, and it's there permanently then, because this is, so that might as well be. Less aggravation. Then all I can do is I can put the card away in my passport for when I travel, because, you know, to go through security at the airport I'm not allowed to. I have to go through the hand security and can't go through one of those machines, so I can keep the card. All it basically does say on the card is that I've had a medical device implanted, the name of the device, serial number of device, and when it was implanted. That's all it is, just on my chest here. That's all it makes a difference.
So everything now is looking to the future.
Yeah.
You're done. It's all set up. It's working. It's running. Fitness levels, you were saying the last time we met that you were feeling a bit lethargic and kind of out of sorts.
I've put on weight. My God, I'm a fatty now.
You're not. How much have you put on?
A stone.
Since a month ago?
A month ago.
Through Christmas?
Well, you've got to remember, you're sitting here and you've got nothing to do, and all you've got to do, especially when I was in hospital, all you do was eat. You know, people bring, I'm not going to put people down, you know, people come and see you, they bring you sweets and this and that, and, you know, when you're sitting around doing nothing, you just shovel in. But I know it won't take me long to lose it.
When do you hope to get back on your bike?
Tomorrow if I could, but I've been told I have to wait now. Now this has been installed. Give it 10 days. Give it 10 days, so because of my giddiness I was getting when, you know, she said just in case, you know, you go through a day where you have a good day and a bad day. If you have a bad day and it's not set at its right thing yet, it can't be set properly yet. It's going to take 3 or 4 goes of setting properly before it's correct. And yeah, she said, but give it 10 days. I can go out on my exercise bike. You know, I've been doing that for the last 3 nights on the trot. You know, I've got a big challenge coming up, and I don't want to. You know, I've got to be super fit for it because this challenge coming up in November. But you know, it's going to take a lot of training to get it. So I've got to start now. I could make a lot of money for Parkinson's here. To control me for a day is going to cost you 100 quid. What do you think?
There'll be a queue at the door, mate.
Tell me about it. I know there would be.
We're going to start with your speech.
No, I've got a lot of people who would love to get their hands on that.
This is excellent. So we'll meet up again in about a month, or just after you've had some further tuning done.
Yeah.
After your next hospital visit, see how things have gone. Meanwhile, all good news.
All good news.
Thanks,
Let's
John.
hope so.
Brilliant.
Let's really hope so.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
We will.